Alright, so we're now going to move on to tutorial 3, where our fire team actually engages. However, they also are going to take cover and not just stand up and walk down the street as they engage the Red Force that's shooting from them from the second floor of this building. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to save this as a new file. So File, Save As, and I'm going to call mine Lab2Tutorial3. Save. Alright, so the next thing we have to do is we have to add in an area feature. So add overlay, add area feature, add generic, and I'm going to call this street. Now I'm going to create a rectangle by just holding down Control and clicking on where I want the vertices to be. Vertices. And I have my rectangle right there. What I can do now is I can define a set of stochastic shields that just randomly appear in this area. So if I go to Add Overlay, Add Shield Occurrence, and I scroll down, shield type I'm going to set to be Big Rock. I'm going to set it to be 5 items, or sorry, 0.5 items per meter squared. And I'm going to set the region as being an area feature, and my area feature is going to be the street. So now if I scroll down to stochastic shields, and it says show sample distribution, if I change that to true, it'll actually show me where the rocks are located. Alright, so that's awesome. We now have our rocks for our soldiers to hide behind. However, our model is not going to do anything we don't tell it to do. So our soldiers aren't going to hide behind the rocks unless we tell them to do that. So let's go ahead and go into Mission Builder and start editing it. So we click on Mission Builder and that loads. And you can see we have our 5 missions right here. So I'm going to edit the fire team leader. I'm going to start by with the movement portion. So currently they're moving along a path, and it's set to start when the model starts, start when on enter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an end controller. Before I do that, I'm going to change the name of move along path to move along path and restart. Alright, so I'm now going to add in an end controller. I'm going to use the expression editor down here to set the condition that will have me terminate this activity. So we're going to use suppression levels, which means whether or not someone is shooting at this agent. So we're going to use a quick Boolean, so just type in the greater than sign and select the dot dot greater than dot dot. With the left one click, type this agent's suppression level. You can see it appear on the bottom here. Double click. And then we're going to put suppression level in brackets right here and set it to be no suppression. So now the soldier is going to stop in the road whenever they are being shot at. So next thing we have to do is we have to have them seek cover. So if we go into template library and we go to suppression, there is a activity for seek cover. So I'm going to right click and drag it over here. Attach group. And right now start when on enter. And we don't want that. That means they're going to seek cover as soon as everything starts. So we're going to change that. And similar to what we did before, when this agent's suppression level is greater than no suppression. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a wait, because they're going to seek cover and then they're going to wait. So you can see right here in the template library we have a wait activity. I'm just going to drag it over here. Now I'm going to erase this arrow and connect it in. It's currently red, which means it needs some information. So I'm going to have to enter in the duration. We're going to use the expression editor again to enter in the duration. We're going to double click on time so that it knows that we're entering a time variable. Click on that, type in 5, and select seconds. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. They're going to see cover for 5 seconds. And now what we want is, we want them to either standard cover or to get up and continue walking. So for them to get up, because when they see cover they're going to go in the prone position, we have to have them change posture. So we're going to add a restart variable in a second to allow them to restart the movement, but we need to have them get back up first. So we're going to add in a change posture activity. Now I accidentally clicked on the wrong place. That went there into my sandbox. Let's go back to here. Change posture. And now I'm going to erase the arrow and connect it in. And I'm going to set the posture to being standing. Now I'm going to create a restart activity, add restart control. I'm going to restart when this agent's suppression level equals no suppression. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and file save just for good measure. So what we want to do now is we want to be able to do this for all four of our blue agents, that are members of our fire team. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. What's probably the easiest way is to create these new missions. So we're going to take these activity groups and we're going to add it into our template library. So I'm going to right click right here where it says move along path and restart, create template under category. I'm going to create a new category just for this called training. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to hit yes. And you can see it appears right there, move along path and restart. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Instead of naming this activity group 3, I'm going to call it seek cover. And I am going to right click, create template under library, and I'm going to put it under training. Hit yes. And you can see it there as well. Alright, what I can do now is I can go to my saw gunner, erase existing movement, and add in move along path and add seek cover. I have to set the path though for the saw gunner. Instead of going to the fire team leader point, they have to go to the saw gunner point. Now for my grenadier, erase their movement mission, and I'm going to add in move along path and restart, seek cover. I'm going to set the path to be the grenadier location. Now for my rifleman, I'm going to do the same thing. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a new mission, and I'm going to call it comms. And I'm going to assign it to my blue agents. And what they're going to do is they're just going to communicate with each other and tell each other if they spot any enemy soldiers. So if I open the communicate template library and go with share known agents continuous, I'm going to right click right here, attach group, and that's all I have to do. Now they're going to communicate with each other and tell each other what's going on and if they see any enemy forces. So I'm going to hit File, Save, and close Mission Builder, and if everything went as planned, I can hit play. I won't get an error, and they should drop and take cover as soon as they get engaged. So you can see the grenadier there went prone because he got shot at. His suppression level is greater than 0. We can see our saw gunner also did the same. They're all getting down and seeking cover, just as they should be. All right, so it's looking pretty good, right? So I'll let this finish running. And we can see our saw gunner is stuck, which is likely some sort of bug in iWars. The red agents are gone. However, because he's no longer being shot at, oh, sorry, here's the issue, is the suppression level incapacitation scheduled. So he's on his way to dying. However, he's not dead yet, so he's still seeking cover because that's his current suppression level. All right, so I'm going to speed this up. We'll see him go back and forth. And there we go. All right, I'm going to hit stop. If we want to, we can go and do some output analysis with this. So Lab2Tutorial3, open up your output. And I can open the analysis files from tutorial 2. So let's go with Op4 neutralized. Run analysis. And it shows me when my Op4 were neutralized. I can also do the same thing for total shots fired. So run analysis. And it shows how many blue and red shots were fired. I can also do the same with A1, number of casualties. I can see that I had 3 blue casualties, which we saw, and 2 red casualties. So that concludes tutorial 3.